Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping back into Historic Brawl with a Smeagol, the helpful guide. Now Smeagol is a 3 mana 4/2 creature, and at the beginning of our end step, if a creature has died under our control this turn, the ring is going to tempt us. Now Smeagol also does something very fun when the ring tempts us. It's going to have target opponent reveal cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. We're going to steal that land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped under our control, and all those other cards that we saw are going to go into our opponent's graveyard. So the game plan here is pretty straightforward. We're going to be ramping with Smeagol, milling our opponent at the same time. So we're going to be wanting to get Smeagol onto the battlefield and have the ring tempt us as many times as possible. Now to enable that end step ring tempting us, we do have a lot of different ways to sacrifice things on our battlefield. We have things like Witch's Cauldron and Plague Crafter causing those symmetrical sacrifice effects. Similarly, Chitter Spitter is also really good. We can actually create a 1/1 green squirrel each turn and sacrifice a token, so this is going to deal with that trigger each turn for us, which is really great. Now we have a couple of other cards that are really valuable in this deck. So what's the point of getting so much mana if we don't have something to top off with at the end of the game? We have Torment of Hailfire. We can cast this with X equal to a huge number since we're stealing all of our opponent's lands, and then eventually force our opponent to sacrifice their whole board and take a ton of damage, which is going to be absolutely amazing for us. Now we also have Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. This actually does something very similar to what Smeagol does. It's going to mill our opponent and give us more of their land, so ramping us off of our opponent. Up at the top end, we have Bolas's Citadel, which is going to be really good for pushing through the top of our deck. We are a little draw light, as well as the Great Henge to give us better draws into the late game as well. And then when you take a look at some of our smaller creatures, we do have creatures that will generate a sacrifice value. We have a Reassembling Skeleton, which we can keep bringing back to the battlefield. We have Jajar for those zombie tokens, which will sacrifice off the Decayed trigger if we attack, or we can sacrifice to other effects to get additional value. Similarly, we have a couple other cards that come back like that, some removal. We're also running all of the Nazgul so the ring can tempt us. But yeah, this is pretty much how this deck is going to go ahead and work. If you guys have been enjoying my videos so far, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on my latest content. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and let me know. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, here we are on the play. This looks really good. I like having a Dark Ritual in hand, Corrupted Conviction. You can actually do some interesting things with this. We're going to go ahead and keep here, and I'm going to start with a tapped Overgrown Tomb. Okay, and we draw a Realmbreaker. Let's go ahead and play out a Vengeful Strangler. Now, when he dies, we'll get to enchant one of our opponent's creatures, and it's going to be very difficult for our opponent to get ahead at that point. Now, do we want to do that right now? I don't think so. I think we're just going to play out our Realmbreaker, and we're going to swing. If they want to block with the elf, they can. Most people like to keep their elves alive. It's one more mana, yep. As expected. Alright, well that's a Teferi.
You'll thank me later.
Okay.
Might be a bad idea.
Trying to use this Teferi to put the Strangler back into our hand. Let's go ahead and play out a land. I think we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to cast out our Smeagol. Go ahead and cast the Vengeful Strangler. And then we'll go ahead and sacrifice our Vengeful Strangler. And then we'll enchant Teferi. Looks good. End of turn. Ring's gonna tempt us. We'll get ourselves a Deserted Beach. Looks pretty good. Now, our opponent's gonna have to choose whether they want to sacrifice Teferi or whether they want to sacrifice their Llanowar Elves next turn. We're also in a pretty good spot, because we can play out the Great Henge.
I've got time.
Great Henge Cankerbloom is gonna be pretty good. Alright, and that's an Uro. And I'm actually not going to elect to attack Teferi, even though we can kill him next turn. Let's see if they sacrifice the Teferi or the Elf. I think they're going to sacrifice the Teferi here, just because we can kill it anyway. That would make the most sense. Go. Okay, we do draw a Nazgul. I do really like that. Let's go ahead and start with the Great Henge. Oh, unfortunately, Auto Tapper did win today. We did not leave a black land untapped for the Nazgul. So that is some value that we're missing out on. +1/+1 counter, draw a card. Go ahead and swing in. Let's go ahead and end the turn here. Deeply unfortunate, we should have gotten an extra land that last turn. But that's okay, we have 2 Nazgul in our hands. We'll be able to fix this. We can sacrifice Cankerbloom to destroy the Corsair. I'm gonna save that for our turn, though. I think that's gonna be much better. If our opponent kills Smeagol, that's gonna be fine. We'll get to recast. And that'll be our turn. Sure, yeah. Let's investigate. Back in the command zone. Okay. Now let's tap this appropriately this time. Go ahead and cast Smeagol. +1/+1 counter, draw a card. Here's a land. Okay, play out our Nazgul. Okay, we'll have... Who do we want our Ring Bearer to be? We'll just make this Nazgul our Ring Bearer. Okay. Land's gonna enter tapped. It's forced to enter tapped anyway, so I'm not really concerned. There's Torment. Really happy to see that. And we're gonna swing out with Cankerbloom first. Our opponent can choose to block if they want to. Yep, they do not block. That's 4 damage. And now let's go ahead and destroy their Corsair. Now, we don't really care about destroying their Corsair as much as we care about having the ring tempt us at the end of our turn. Looking good. We're getting really close to a point where I'm going to be happy casting Torment. We do have 2 Nazgul in hand. Alright. Smeagol exiled. That's fine. Back into the command zone he goes. We'll just play him again next turn. We're getting so many lands each turn. Alright. Tap down our weird lands that aren't in our colors. Go ahead, play Smeagol again. +1/+1 counter, draw a card. Here's a Nazgul. Ring's gonna tempt us. We'll keep this guy as our ring bearer. Looking good. We do get another land here. Let's go ahead and play this out. Move to combat. Swinging out. Draw and discard. That's a Nazgul. Let's get rid of Witch's Cauldron. Okay, opponent does block with the Llanowar Elves. That's fine by me. No end of turn trigger on Smeagol. We do have 2 mana up, though. We can either crack the Clue or use Realmbreaker. I think Realmbreaker is going to be the way. We've been gaining lots of life off the Great Henge as well. I imagine we're going to have some high-value turns coming up. And with so many lands, Torment of Hailfire is going to start being so bad for our opponents to deal with.
Consider the future, then strike.
Okay, 3 damage. Let's go ahead and use Realmbreaker here. Getting back a land. Back in the command zone. Each turn, we're going to be ramping more and more. The command tax almost doesn't matter at all. Let's go ahead and play out Smeagol again. +1/+1 counter, draw a card. I see. Well, we've run into a slight predicament. I do have to remember that Auto Tapper works the way it does. Let's go ahead and play out the Nazgul. Steal a land. We'll keep this Nazgul as our ring bearer. Gain a bunch of +1/+1 counters. Let's play out another Nazgul. Keep this Nazgul as our ring bearer. We're gonna go ahead and steal another land. Now this is a lot of Nazgul that we have out on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and swing with both. See if we can force a block here, and another Nazgul in our hand. I do like the look of that. Let's discard Haywire Might. Yep. Opponent down at 6, and we have quite the board filled with Nazgul. Opponent's been very focused on killing Smeagol. They haven't been paying attention to all these Nazgul we've got.
Strike with a cunning mind.
Also, we do have lethal with Torment of Hailfire right now. Yeah, sure, kill Smeagol again. Okay, looks good. Yep, white token, creature token. Opponent needs to have 2 more creatures out on the battlefield. Let's see if they're able to get there. Okay. There we go. Opponent now has blocks. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there 2 turns in a row. I think they're going to concede. Yes, sir. Alright, good game. Okay, well, here we are on the play. No black lands, so we're going to go ahead and take the mulligan here. This is a little bit better. We'll go ahead and keep. I'm actually going to start with the tapped Castle Lochthwain. Next turn, we'll be able to play out our Arcane Signet. Opponent's playing a Tali. So we do know that we can actually steal green lands from our opponent. That would be quite nice. Alright, here's Smeagol in play. Next turn, we'll be able to play a Nazgul and steal one of our opponent's lands. 2 can play at the ramping game. We're going even in terms of ramp right now. Okay, Scrap Gorger, sure. And a Destiny Spinner. Alright. Okay, we do have Dark Ritual. That's going to be really fun with our Torment of Hailfire. Go ahead and make Smeagol our Ring Bearer. We do get a red land. Now, no creature of ours has died, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the Nazgul here. And let's go back and see. What do I want to get here? We have a couple of different options. Call of the Ring is going to be good for having the ring tempt us multiple times. We could also go the draw route, get the Citadel. I think we're going to go for the Citadel. I like that. No attacks. Go ahead, end the turn. Steal another land. It's another mountain. Now, Bolus's Citadel is going to be really good for us. Get us a whole bunch of value off the top of our library. See if our opponent's going to play out a Tali soon. Alright. We are... a Tali is soon to be played. Let's go ahead and take a large turn here. Now, for some reason, the auto-tapper does not like it when we tap down... Okay, let's... Yep, perfect. That's much better. Doesn't like it when we tap down our opponent's lands. Black land. Claim the precious. Alright, let's go ahead and kill you. Ring's gonna tempt us. We're gonna go ahead and get a land card. Sure. Opponent adds a black mana for no reason. I'm fine with that. Very good. Ring tempts us. Let's go ahead and get a land, mill our opponent. Lots of red lands. Let's go ahead and grab Call of the Ring. Nazgul. Ring's going to tempt us again. Okay, keep Smeagol as our Ring Bearer. Now, fun little combo here. We are going to pay the 2 life to draw this land, see if we can find something else off the Citadel. It's another land, of course. Alright, let's go ahead and play this. Let's go ahead, we'll play it on... We have lots of black lands, let's play this on green. No attacks. End the turn. Now we do have a ton of lands here. Can cast Torment of Hailfire for 11. I do really like that. Let's see what our opponent gets off us with a Tali. Okay, reassembling skeleton. That's just about as bad as it could be. I get a Beast Whisper. 7, 8, 9. Take 6. Ring tempts us. Let's go ahead and put that on Smeagol. We can decline for right now. Draw the land. Okay. Persistent Specimen. Key the Archive. Okay, I like Doomblade. Approach of the Second Sun, also pretty okay. Let's go Doomblade. Discard a Forest. Play the Scorpion off the top. Nazgul as well. Okay, let's keep this as our Ring Bear. Decline here. Alright, now we are in the danger zone in terms of our life total. Let's see, what else do we want to do here? Now we do have enough permanents to sacrifice to have our opponent lose 10 life. But I think we're just going to pass the turn here. We have Doomblade, we have Murderous Rider. That should be able to get us out of whatever situation our opponent manages to put us in this turn. We do have enough blockers to be in a really good spot. If our opponent goes to flip a Tali. Alright, Cityscape Leveler. Yep. Probably going to destroy one of our ring-tempting effects, or the Bolus's Citadel, though at this point they'll probably leave the Bolus's Citadel, since we're so low on life. Let's see, it is a difficult choice for our opponent. Okay, they picked the Nazgul. I'm fine with that. Let's go ahead, Doomblade Atali. Back in the command zone you go. Yep. We still have plenty of blockers for our opponent's board. And next turn we'll be able to cast Torment of Hailfire for some absurd amount of mana. Alright. Now, last thing we're going to do while we can is let's go ahead and kill Cityscape Leveler here. Now, opponent can recast it next turn, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there. Ring tempts you. Alright, let's go ahead and pick Nazgul. Not going to pay the life here. Get that +1/+1 counter, draw a Nazgul. Now, let's go ahead and tap out everything. Gonna hit QQ. Double black here. Let's see. That, notably, we're just gonna let that burn. That's fine. Cast our Dark Ritual. Okay, so now we have access to a ton of mana right now. Let's see, so I believe it's 16 that we can cast this for? Yep, because we can't spend the Power Stone treasure. Yep. Looks good. Torment of Hailfire, X equals 16. That's gonna force our opponent to start sacrificing permanents and discarding cards. But the choice is up to them. Okay, starting with the discard. Pretty strong. It would otherwise be 48 damage. Yep, sacrifice the skeleton. I'll take that back. Yep. Looking good. Think our opponent's gonna find out that they don't have that much life left. Yep. Yep. We've got it. Alright. Okay, here we are on the play. We're going to take a mulligan since we don't have enough lands to cast a spell that we'd like. Now this we can keep, albeit we don't have any green lands, but we can get the treasure off Shambling Gas, so I don't mind this start too much. Start by playing out the Shambling Gas. Now our opponent is playing an Ob Nixilis deck. Alright, let's go ahead and play out Vengeful Strangler, swing in for that 1 damage. If our opponent casts a creature, we can get some additional value with that treasure token next turn. Perfect. Couldn't have asked for anything better than that. Let's go ahead and play out our land. We're going to choose to sacrifice a creature. That creature is going to be the Shambling Ghast. We're going to make that treasure token. Use that treasure token. We'll play out Smeagol. This is about as good as that could have gone for us. Okay. Smeagol can be our ring bearer. And we get a mountain. Would have preferred the swamp, but that's okay. Okay, opponent plays out a banner. Next turn we have a Nazgul that we could play. Sure, they bolt Smeagol, that's fine. Now we can play out the ring here and start drawing some cards. I do kind of like that. I'm gonna draw now, see if we can hit our land drop. We do not, but that's okay. Gonna keep on fighting for that land drop. Once we do have enough mana to recast Smeagol, we'll definitely go ahead and do that. Okay, there's a Shambling Ghast. Looks good. Village Rites. Alright. Well, there's a forest. Here's Smeagol. Move to combat. Now our opponent can block with the Ghast here. And I'm perfectly fine with that. They do not. No ring tempting us this turn. Alright, Omnixilus. He's not going to be alive for very long. No blocks. Right. Send him back to the command zone. Now this alone might be enough to make our opponent pretty angry. Another mountain. Move to combat. Let's draw and discard, see if we can find ourselves a land. We do not. Let's get rid of Cult Conscript. Alright. Opponent does block here. I'm going to activate the Ring's ability. So that way we can play out another Swamp, and then a Nazgul. Nazgul will be our ring bearer. We'll get another land. Ring's gonna keep tempting us. We're doing really good in terms of ramp right now. Sounds good. Smeagol back in the command zone. Opponent's gonna make a treasure token. Now our opponent only has 2 cards in hand. Let's go ahead and play out Smeagol, play out the Nazgul. The One Ring is slowly killing us, so we are on a clock. Okay. Nazgul as the ring bearer. Let's go ahead and steal another land. We're getting really close to the point where I'm going to want to cast Torment of Hailfire. Next turn we can cast it for 9. Discard 2 cards, A. Alright, well let's go with the Haunt and the Haywire Might. Tablet, sure. Now we have a couple of different options for what to do on this next turn. I think we are going to wait and cast Torment next turn for the win. So keep the Nazgul as our ring bearer. Seal a land. Have the ring tempt us. Let's go ahead and get Haywire Might back. Keep this as our ring bearer. Seal another land. Get another +1/+1 counter. Here's the Haywire Might. You're gonna have Haywire Might destroy the banner. Gain 3 life. Looking good so far. Let's move to combat. Draw and discard. Let's discard the Plague Crafter. Opponent with only one card left in hand. Let's go key to the archive for some extra mana for our next turn. Honestly, we'll go ahead and take the Lightning Bolt, and I'm just gonna discard the... no, we're gonna discard Village Rites, hang on to the Lightning Bolt. End the turn here. Ring tempts us one more time. We steal another land. Alright, oil counter, and we've got it! Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Smeagol is a very fun commander to take into Historic Brawl. Stealing your opponent's lands is great, and milling your opponents, also great. That ramp is really going to accelerate our game plan. It's going to be really hard for our opponents to get back ahead of us after we have gained all of that value. And if a game does go out long enough, we will eventually have taken all of our opponent's lands and milked them out completely. So we do know that we are going to be able to come out on top of those long, grindy games. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you have any ideas for another video you'd like to see me make, why don't you go ahead and let me know in a comment down below. I will see you all next time.